Yo, what's going on YouTube? Chrono here, and welcome back to another PSO2 video. So today we're gonna be going over, I guess, the debacle that was the headline and the drama ensuing around it, my thoughts, unfiltered, and kind of explaining what exactly happened. But if you guys are new to the channel, like I mentioned, my name is Chrono. I primarily cover PSO2 content. Would much appreciate a subscribe as we work our way towards that 10K mark, hopefully by the end of this year. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into this. So, what exactly is going on? There's a couple of things I want to take care of at the very beginning of this video because honestly, I feel like with the message this video is supposed to put out, that I want to put out for it, it's only fair that I approach it in this way. So the headline, let's start out with my like unfiltered, just raw thoughts. I was disappointed and thought it sucked. You're probably gonna think, hey, there's no way that that's real. Like, you didn't respond that way. You didn't freak out with the rest of us. You weren't upset on Twitter, so on and so forth. There was no molding. No, duh. The thing to keep in mind here is this channel is not just for me. We like to say that I'll play the games that I want to play. I stream what I want to stream. But reality, I wouldn't have any of this if it wasn't for you guys. I wouldn't have my YouTube channel. I wouldn't have my Twitch stream. I wouldn't have anything that I have when it comes to this. The thing to keep in mind and to just keep, to keep me level-headed is that you guys are the reasons I have a platform. So whenever I have a thought about certain things that are going on or share my feelings on something, I keep a broad perspective. In keeping a broad perspective, one thing I have learned over the years is that it is not just optimized combat-based players that follow my channel. There are all different types. And if I'm being 100% honest, not all aspects of the headline sucked. Just the ones that I cared about did. The ones that were more quality of life focused or creative space focused were awesome. They were absolutely amazing. Much like someone who doesn't like a specific genre of game or movie can appreciate when something is done well in that genre, I can appreciate when something is done well in an aspect of a game that I don't like. Which is why when I gave my thoughts on Twitter, I said, hey, look, from the perspective of like combat and things like that, this was like a 2 to 3 out of 10. But from the perspective of like quality of life, creative space, of social aspects, this was like an 8 out of 10 because that's realistically what it was. If I just looked at it from my own perspective, I'd have been with the rest of everyone else like, oh, this sucks. This was super disappointing. But I didn't want to downplay everything that they showed for everyone because of my personal feelings behind the matter, which granted, some of you guys want to know my personal feelings. So again, transparency. That's how I felt about the update. I'm not super excited for next week outside of turning on cell shading and messing around with creative spaces for a while to have somewhere to AFK, basically. That's going to be cool for me, but I'm probably not going to use it to the extent most people are going to use it. Now, let's move on to the actual meat of this video itself. Hopefully this isn't too long. I'm recording this like in between other stuff I'm doing. I'm technically like on lunch at work right now, so I wanted to get this video out to you guys as soon as possible. You'll probably see a double upload today because of this, because I don't want to wait on this sort of information. So the drama resorting around the headline and what's going on. And the message for this video itself. I mentioned earlier that transparency is very important, and that lack of transparency is what causes a lot of people to make assumptions, to infer certain things based on what they see, and realistically, you can't blame those individuals. You can't blame someone for thinking something if they have no other information outside of that. I mean, granted, if you give them information that they think the wrong thing based on the information you gave them, that's one thing. But if you've given them nothing, then it's understandable why they would think certain things are going on. And you're probably thinking to yourself, like, what is he even talking about? So, the headline. Basically, the long story short, I guess the short version of this, to give you guys a bit of context from the very beginning, is that the headline of information that we saw was not the intended release schedule of things or the version 2 update. We had a few things. Basically, the major thing that they talk about is a quest that was supposed to release alongside of everything else that was coming out. That quest was supposed to be pretty big, a fairly decent change to how the battle system formula actually worked. However, it was delayed. It was delayed until August. And the reality is they didn't tell us. We didn't know. We had to go out of our way to Discord, community manager by the name of GWiz, fantastic individual, talked to them beforehand. They're super awesome. Was awesome enough to go ahead and give us this information. So I'm actually gonna pull this up for you guys here. Give me just a quick second. So Crit dropped a video talking about this. His thumbnail fantastic for giving us this message, but version 2 is an error. June 7th isn't the end all be all. And then if I can, I believe, you know what? Let me just pull up Discord one sec, guys. All right, so one thing I've already given feedback on is, oh, hang on. So version 2 is an error. June 7th isn't the end all be all. August's quest type was originally intended for June. I've been clear about that. Yes, GWiz has mentioned this beforehand in this Discord, actually. One thing I've already given feedback on is how translation affects positioning. If Ultra Evolution was creative spaces, after that quest type was moved to August, it would have set expectations better. I kind of disagree with this. I think this is fine to leave this as it was, because Ultra Evolution is supposed to be a working title. Instead, it was like version 2, but they have Ultra Evolution version 2 all over stuff, so that's confusing. Creative Spaces update, I feel like would have just been kind of annoying for people. Like, hey, we're not giving you anything else. I think the more important thing here was set expectations. Yeah, the whole point is to set expectations better. Would have just been to be transparent. Let people know, like similar to how they announced Creative Spaces originally, where they showed like a small teaser, like just a little bit of something, say, hey, look, this is what we're working on, but this is being pushed back till later, would have gone a very, very long way, and letting the player base know that, hey, look, this was intended for here, but this got pushed back, right? So the whole message of this video is transparency. Realistically, the transparency comes from amazing individuals like the community managers, like the Headline Plus information they give, like David streams. Those are fantastic, but a lot of people don't interact with that. They interact with the official sources, they interact with the website, they interact with streamers, they interact with YouTubers, and that's where they get their information from. So if anyone from the from the social media team is listening, or from SEGA directly, I implore you, give us a way of providing this information. I'd be more than happy to get this information and then position that to you guys in the form of a video. Or just tell us during the update, man. Transparency is awesome from game devs. That is what any real gamer that's really supporting a game itself wants to have. They want to know what's going on. And yes, maybe there's a mistake that's put in there. Maybe you messed up. We want to know what happened. Yeah, we'll say, oh, there goes SEGA messing up again. But realistically, there goes SEGA messing up again is much better than, oh, there goes SEGA not caring about us at all. And, you know, this is going to be the worst thing in the world. And I basically have given up on this. There has been so much drama behind the current headline because there was expectations of it being like absolutely phenomenal, which, to be fair, we set those expectations up ourselves because there was not a level of transparency of what we were expecting to see. They didn't tell us what we were going to see in the actual update itself, so a lot of us drew conclusions based on the name Ultra Evolution version 2, the fact that we saw mostly creative space stuff previously. We were expecting to see other things based on previous updates that we had seen beforehand, which isn't unfair to assume that we would see based on what we have dealt with in the past. So the fact that things were a bit different this time around kind of sucked. And even during the headline, and actually as a recap, I mentioned this, that it felt like they were stalling when it came to our content. And now that makes sense. Effectively, they were, because they weren't ready for certain things and they reshuffled things around. And now that I know that, it makes sense as to what we're seeing, why we're seeing what we're seeing. And does that make it really an excuse for it? No, it sucks. It sucks that we're not going to get that information or get that piece of content, but it would be much better to know that than to think that they don't care about that information at all, than to think they don't care about that content at all. Again, transparency. All we ask, and this is, again, I'm making this video as not just telling you guys, hey, this is what happened, but also as a call to action, if you will, that if you guys are going to provide feedback, ask for transparency. Tell us what's going on. Surprises are kind of cool, right? Like little ones here and there, but let us know when something doesn't go as planned. Let us know when things are moving forward as planned. Like, that's realistically what players are looking to find out. That's what they want to know about. So all I ask is transparency. One last thing is kind of like a follow-up thing, and actually I think I'm going to pull up the tweet behind this. Give me one sec. All right, so I posted this tweet yesterday because I saw a lot of this pop up, and I honestly was really kind of sad about this. So, okay, so like, be disappointed at the lack of combat content for sure, but why are we blaming and harassing those who are excited about the quality of life and creative elements? We should be advocating for ourselves, not looking to rain on other people's parade. Arcs do better. I still 100% firmly believe that. It sucks we didn't get as much combat content as we should have. Absolutely. I'm not happy about that. I'm going to be very vocal about the fact that, hey, this update currently at the moment is not everything I wanted it to be. I wanted to see a hell of a lot more. And I've always been very vocal about that. What I've also been very careful about doing is not raining on other people's parades. No one wants to have their game trashed when things that they're experiencing and they're enjoying are coming out. And the thing to remember is that it's not always about what I want specifically. It sometimes is about what other people want as well. And the reality of the situation is that just because one aspect of the game didn't do super well does not mean that another aspect of the game isn't doing awesome. And the reality is that the quality of life and creative elements and social elements of the game are doing fantastic. These are super awesome and have definitely been needed. However, we need to also advocate for the same level of commitment to the combat space as well. We need to push for that and not rain on the parade of other people. If there's elements of the game that you're not enjoying, why even be a part of them? It's not to say that, oh, you like this and I think this sucked, so you're part of the problem as to why they don't fix this. No, there's no one out there. I mean, if there are people out there that are doing this, by all means, shame on them. But there's no one out there that's saying, oh, no combat content? Good. Screw combat content. Get that out of here. I'm not advocating for those people. If there are people out there that are like that, by all means, trash on them because that's stupid. I'm not that type of person. But people that are saying, I like what I see, this is super cool. Yeah, because that's the stuff that they're excited about. Let them be excited about it. I'm not telling you to be excited with them. I'm just telling you to advocate for what you want to see as well. Maybe not underneath someone else's comment that has nothing to do with what you're talking about, but give that feedback. The same way I said, hey, look, we want transparency. Give the feedback of, hey, look, man, we wanted to know if this is not being added in, what happened? Why isn't it being added in? We want to see more. We expect more from you guys. We've seen what you're capable of doing. We want that. There is nothing wrong with advocating for greatness. I'm always going to say advocate for what it is that you're looking for in a game itself. Of course, from a from an informed perspective, but I'm never, ever going to be on the side that puts down people for being excited about what they enjoy. And that's something that I can never get behind. But I wanted to make my intentions very clear. I want you guys to know exactly what's going on and provide feedback the way that I know how to with the platform that you guys have provided me. And I want to hear what you guys have to say about it in the comments. I'm sure there's plenty to talk about, as a few of my recent videos there have been. Apologies, I haven't gone through all the comments, though I read them. I don't always get to comment on them because holy freaking crap, some of you guys write a lot of crap. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching all the way to the end. I appreciate every single one of you. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe when you keep up with more. Hopefully this gives you guys a window or insight into my mind, and I'll see you all next time. Take care, everyone. Peace out.